What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Legend of Master Sexy YouTube channel. And today we are going to do a cost of living breakdown between Canada and the Philippines. In this video, I will compare two cities from the Philippines and one city in Canada. One higher end city in the Philippines, one mid-tier city in Canada. It's actually around where I live, so that city is pretty much a good estimate of what I'm currently paying. And because I have viewers in the Philippines, Canada, and the US, I decided I would put the prices in Filipino pesos, Canadian currency, and USD. That way everybody can see the price differences. I want to cover everything from rent, groceries, transportation, phone bills, utilities, any hidden costs like visas and stuff like that, healthcare and stuff like that. Trust me, guys, when you stick around to the end and I show you the totals, you're going to understand why a lot of Canadians, US citizens, are considering Philippines as a serious alternative. If you guys are new here and you guys got some value from this video, consider liking the video, commenting down below, letting me know your thoughts, and subscribing to the channel. I'm about 6 weeks out from traveling to the Philippines. I'm going there for 30 days. I'm going to be traveling around some different cities, checking things out to see if there's somewhere where I want to relocate to permanently. And I'm hoping by the first or second quarter of 2026, I am living in the Philippines full time. All right, guys, without further ado, I'm going to show these numbers to you guys. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so first thing we're going to cover is the cost of rent in each city. So Niagara Falls, Canada, we're looking at around 75,600 Filipino pesos for a one-bedroom apartment. Everything will be for a one-bedroom in this video. That works out to be $1,800 Canadian currency and 1,350 USD. So just to put this into perspective, guys, about 10 years ago, you could probably get this same one-bedroom apartment for like 900 bucks. So it's at least doubled within the last 10 years. Okay, Makati City, 47,000 Filipino pesos. That works out to be $1,120 Canadian and $840 US. All right, then we have Davao City, 25,000 Filipino pesos, 600 Canadian and 450 USD. So as you can see here already, Davao is a third of the cost of Niagara Falls, Canada, where close to where I'm currently living. Makati is about not half of the cost, but maybe about 2/3 of the cost. So pretty insane just to see that. So next, what we have is average monthly groceries. So for Niagara Falls, and this is actually pretty accurate. This is probably what I pay at least in monthly groceries. 31,900 Filipino pesos. That works out to be 760 Canadian and 570 USD. Makati City, 16,000 Filipino pesos, 380 Canadian and 285 USD. Davao City, 11,000 Filipino pesos, 260 Canadian and 195 USD. All right, let's keep going here. So as you can see, there's like this trend where like Davao almost looks like it's a third of the cost. Makati is anywhere from half the cost to maybe 2/3 of the cost. Okay, so let's get into utilities, electricity, water, heating, cooling, and trash. Niagara Falls, 6,300 Filipino pesos. That's 150 CAD, 113 USD. Makati is pretty much the same from what it's showing. 6,000 Filipino pesos, 143 CAD, and 107 US. Davao City, 4,000 Filipino pesos, 95 Canadian, and 72 US. So Davao is still a bit cheaper from what I'm seeing, but Makati is pretty much the same cost when it comes to utilities, it looks like. Laundry. So this, I'm assuming this is like a laundry service where you drop your clothes off to get your clothes washed and stuff like that. Okay, so Niagara Falls, 2,100 Filipino pesos, $50 Canadian a month, and 37 USD. Makati City, 1,000 Filipino pesos, $24 CAD, and 18 USD. Davao City, 800 Filipino pesos, 19 CAD, and 14 USD. So once again, it's a lot cheaper in the Philippines to pay people to do your stuff, so cost of labor is a lot lower. So transportation, here we go. Niagara Falls car gas insurance. These numbers are insane. So just to give you guys a little bit perspective here, this is probably, well, this is obviously including your your monthly payments on a car, which would be 950. 950, that's your gas, insurance, and your payments, right? So pretty expensive. And for me, I paid off my car, so I only have to pay for the insurance and the gas. So my cost is pretty low compared to this. But yeah, for a lot of people, they're on car payments and stuff. I think it's actually, I used to actually have payments on a really nice truck, and I believe I was paying probably more than this with gas, insurance. I was definitely paying more than this with gas, insurance, and my truck payments as well. So I bought a car right out because I wanted to get rid of my truck. It was just expensive. I used it for my old job, so I didn't need it anymore. Anyways, here's the cost of living. So 40,000 Filipino pesos, 950 CAD, and 715 USD. Just crazy. Makati City, Grab plus MRT slash LRT. So that's 4,500 Filipino pesos, 107 CAD, and 80 USD. It's about almost a tenth of the cost. Davao City, Grab plus Jeepney, 3,000 Filipino pesos, $72 CAD, and 54 USD. This is like a tenth of the cost of what? Sorry, even more. It's such a low amount compared to what a lot of people are paying here for vehicles. Okay, so number 6, eating out. This just said 20 meals per month, so I'm assuming Monday to Friday, just eating out. So Niagara Falls, 20,000 Filipino pesos. That equals out to be $475 in Canadian currency and $360 in US currency. Okay, then we have Makati City. That's 10,000 Filipino pesos, so about half the cost, 240 in CAD and 180 in USD. So Davao City, we have 6,000 Filipino pesos. That works out to be 145 CAD and 108 USD. That is insanely low. That definitely makes me pretty happy to see that. All right, so now we're getting into our internet and phone plan. So for Niagara Falls, 3,800 Filipino pesos, 90 CAD, and 68 USD. Phone, 2,600 Filipino pesos, that's 60 CAD and 45 USD. Our total, 6,400 Filipino pesos, that is 150 CAD and 113 USD. Okay, Makati and Davao, put them together, so I'm assuming the cost is pretty similar between both places for these. So internet is 1,700 Filipino pesos, 40 CAD and 30 USD. Phone is 800 Filipino pesos and 19 CAD and 14 USD. The total, 2,500 Filipino pesos, 59 CAD and 44 USD. So it's about half, maybe two-thirds or one-third of the cost. So pretty low compared to that. So next one, guys, healthcare. In Canada, you don't pay anything for healthcare except for any prescription stuff like that. But if you go to the hospital, something happens, that's covered, so you don't have to worry about that. Obviously, you pay that in your taxes. Taxes are pretty high here, in my opinion. So yeah, Canada, there's no cost for this, so I'm not going to add any cost to this. Makati and Davao, private insurance, 4,000 Filipino pesos. That works out to be 95 in CAD and 72 USD. Okay, guys, visa fees. Philippines only. There's nothing for Niagara Falls in Canada for this. This is for me being a foreigner staying in your beautiful country of the Philippines. Here's what I'll have to pay, which is a great price in my opinion. That is 2,000 Filipino pesos, $48 CAD, and 36 USD. All right, guys, it is time for the grand finale, the final total of everything. So we're going to start with Canada, Niagara Falls, and the overall cost for a one-bedroom apartment, single person, is 182,900 Filipino pesos, which works out to be 43,055 CAD. That is 32.85 USD. I would say these numbers are pretty accurate. Obviously, you can get these numbers lower, but your cost of living, or sorry, not your cost of, your quality of living will definitely go down. For me, I would say that's pretty accurate. Maybe you can get between $3,000 and $4,000 somewhere, but yeah, it's a struggle. With, if you think about your rent alone, it's $1,800. So Then you have car insurance, gas, all your utilities, all of your food. It adds up pretty quick, guys. So that is very high in my opinion. Then we are looking at Makati City. That is 102,000 Filipino pesos, which works out to be 24.30 in CAD and 18.20 in USD. So that is not quite half, but it's probably about 2/3 of the cost of Canada in Niagara Falls. Now, if you compare this to Toronto, it's probably about half or a third of the cost because Toronto is way more expensive than Niagara Falls, which is like obviously the main city here. So Davao City, we have 57,300 Filipino pesos. That works out to be 1365 in CAD and 1020 USD. Just to give you guys some context here. So first of all, we can see Davao is about a third of the cost overall compared to Niagara Falls, Canada, where I'm currently living. That's absolutely insane. So the savings on that would be at least $2,000 to $3,000 a month, probably in savings by moving to Davao. Works out to be anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000 a year in Canadian currency, which is a lot of money to save. So that is definitely another reason why a lot of foreigners are probably looking at places like this, not just Philippines, but anywhere where the cost of living is this low. And if you're working online and then you could do that, or people that are retiring, they have a pension, they could stretch their dollar a lot further. I did do I asked ChatGPT another question. I asked it, for example, if I made and this is just an example, this isn't actually what I make, but if you make $5,000 a month in the Philippines, what is the spending power like? And it said it's probably about 2 to 3 times what you currently have. So, for example, if you're making $5,000 a month in Canada and you move to the Philippines, that would be like you having $10,000 to $15,000 a month. So it's a big difference. It literally like doubles or triples your money, or triples your spending power, I should say. It doesn't triple your money, but technically it seems like it because now you can have a higher quality of living. So, other thing I want to add to this, guys, with Davao City, I actually have somebody that works for us that is from Davao City, and she told me, I asked her what would be a good budget for me if I want to live, and I kind of explained everything that I wanted, being able to travel like a couple times a month to different places in the Philippines, not living a super extravagant lifestyle, but also not living like not hurting, like being pretty comfortable, right? And she told me 1,500 to 2,000 Canadian. So this is pretty close to that number. I think I could probably do it on 1,500, and I think I'd be pretty comfortable with that. And then if I wanted to, I could stretch that budget a little further. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, is in that $1,500 to $2,000 range, which right now that would cut my cost at least in half to 2 to 3x, right? So at least 2 or 3 times the amount that I'm currently paying. Okay, so overall, I want to show this to you guys. When I actually move to the Philippines, I want to do a full, real budget breakdown, cost of living Canada, of what I was paying here in Canada compared to what I will be paying in the Philippines. So that will show you guys a little bit more of the actual savings that I'm getting every month by actually moving to the Philippines. So definitely stay tuned for that. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss out on that as well. And let me know your thoughts on the video, guys. I just wanted to test this because it's not like I'm there yet, but I'm planning for it. So I wanted to see these numbers and kind of get a rough idea of what I could potentially be saving as well. So the key takeaway from this, guys, is, if you're living in a place like comparable to Niagara Falls, Canada, these price points, if you look at the overall monthly cost, let's say you're in the U.S. and you're paying $3,000 to $3,500, and then you look at possibly moving to somewhere like Davao or Makati, you can see like you're probably going to save at least a third of your cost if you move to somewhere like Makati, but if you move to somewhere like Davao, you can probably actually save 2/3 of your cost, right? So just wanted to provide this for you guys so you can also see it as well. Obviously, do your own research. You can actually go in detail and spend a lot of time actually pricing everything out. I'm not going to do that until I get closer to moving there, but I wanted to kind of get a quick overview and share this with you guys as well. So Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. The other reason I wanted to show this too was because, you know, it's a massive difference. Like if you think about saving an extra 20,000, you know, anywhere from, let's say in US currency, 15,000 to $30,000 in Canadian currency a year. That's pretty incredible, right? If you do the math over like a 10-year period, that's anywhere from, you know, $150,000 to $300,000 a year, which is insane. That's probably buying houses in Philippines with that cost, right? So, or with those savings. So, anyway, hopefully you guys got some value from this video. Like I said, show your support to the channel by hitting that like button, comment down below, subscribe. Let's get this out to more people. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours. I appreciate your guys' support, and you know, as always, guys, don't forget to stay legendary and stay sexy.